She wasn't ready.
Oh. Okay.
Hey.
Guys, no,
Are we counting or just going?
Just going.
Okay, ready?
1, 2.
We're counting.
Hey guys, I'm Mac.
And I'm Jack.
And welcome to our channel. I don't really know where to start with this. Basically, we've gotten a couple of requests of like, how did you guys meet? Or like, tell us about the proposal and stuff like that. So It's kind of inspired us to just start at the very beginning of our story.
Yeah, I think it's really funny too because Mac was literally 2 weeks ago saying like, oh, what do you think about a series on our lives? All of the comments rolling in and asking for it just like pushed it along further. It's like, okay, like let's do it.
We gotta do it. And why not start from the very beginning?
Absolutely. So
of how we met.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna chat with you guys as if you guys are right here sitting in front of us and kind of tell us the story. So Jack, why don't you start with like your perspective of that day?
Yeah, so it was a misty night.
Oh my gosh, it literally was daytime. It was probably sunny outside.
Rode through the fog.
No. So I'll start with mine because Jack's struggling with his part. So my perspective of that day was, it was senior year. It was first semester because it was the fall semester. And I knew of Jack. We had a really big friend group, I would say. Like there was a mixture of guys and girls. On the weekends we would all get together, but like we never had like a personal relationship, I would say, like friendship or anything like that.
No, Dingle always stalked me in the shadows.
That is not true at all. It's senior year, it's first semester, and I have a statistics class, and I truly didn't know anybody in that class. Like, I didn't know who was gonna be there. I didn't know, like, if I would have anyone to sit next to or anything like that. When I walked in, I saw someone that I kind of knew. We've been on, like, a couple teams together and stuff like that, so I sat down next to her, and that happened to be the table right behind Jack, who is sitting with one of my other friends sitting right there. So it kind of worked out like I knew of him, but I more knew the person sitting next to me, and then the person sitting like right in front of me, and then Jack was like kitty corner because it was desks of 2 people.
Yeah, no, I remember it exactly like that because we were only acquaintances. And do you remember like we were both kind of like, oh, who's that? Like, you know, that like because we knew who
we knew of each other, yeah.
But it was kind of like, oh, she's cute, or like, oh yeah, like he's.
I mean, I knew I had a crush on him when I started talking to him.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I remember, like when we met in statistics class, is like I always found an excuse to turn around and talk to him. Actually,
he was flirting hardcore.
She was right behind me or something, so like I would poke her UGG boot or whatever, and like, oh wow, this like feels weird. That's a really cool boot. Like, you know, like total high school
flirting.
Yeah, it was so bad.
He always got us in trouble. Like
I did.
Our teacher, his name was Mr. Azadorian.
Razzle Dazzle.
Razzle Dazzle. And he literally like would always tell us to be quiet, but Jack was the one that was always turning around and talking to me.
Well, it didn't help. He was our head football coach too, so
and Jack did football.
He already had his eyes on me, like, because he knew who I was. Like,
and wanted him to get good grades and stuff.
Yeah, he definitely knew who I was.
So he was always like watching you.
Schaefer, shut up.
Yeah. Whenever I would bother him, I would get my homework back, and I wasn't getting the best grades on my homework, but then I'd study really hard for my quizzes, and then the quizzes would be okay. So I would ask Jack, like, he would always get 100% on his homework, like A+. No, don't even go there. Because I would ask him, I would be like, Jack, you're getting 100s on your homework, like, what gives, like, can you help me? And he'd turn around and kind of just, like, look at my paper intently and be like, I can't quite remember how, it's just, like, kind of just all in my head, but, like, we can, like, help each other out if you want, etc. I learned when we started dating that Jack would look at the back of the book for all of the answers and just write down the answers and maybe some equations sometimes, so it looked like he was just, like, all in his head, he just wasn't showing his work, trying to impress me.
Work smarter, not harder, kids.
No, and then, like, the quizzes would come and I would get, like, pretty decent grades, and he would just bomb the quizzes. And when I asked him about it, how are you getting not such good grades on your quizzes, and how are you getting good grades in your homework? And he was like, I'm just a really bad test taker. That's the whole story of statistics, when we started flirting and like kind of talking to each other and stuff. That's where it all started. And then when we were spring cleaning yesterday, Jack actually found a book that he made for me. It's a scrapbook.
I have some of the statistics homework.
No, you don't.
As the page of the background.
Yeah, you do actually.
Yeah, I got 100% on because I'm a genius.
Here is a like picture that I made him
Yeah, she drew me a flower.
I drew him a flower, and then on one of the sides it says, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it says, "To Jack, love Mac." Keep in mind, we were still just flirting at that point. We weren't even like a thing. So that is how we officially first met.
Oh wait, well, let me describe how I remember it.
You said you were like...
So it was a misty night.
No, statistics class is over, and we don't necessarily have like a reason to see each other every day anymore, I would say. Like,
yeah, no, we don't have a class.
We don't have a class.
So.
We didn't do the same sports, obviously.
You didn't play football?
No, I did not. You didn't do track? That's so weird. We finish out the end of the semester, and then we have spring semester that rolls around. We would probably be at like some parties or something like that. Like,
yeah, we had mutual friends.
Yeah.
So like that's how we did. Like we had a really big friend. Like
yeah,
what,
it was
30
massive.
of us?
So it wasn't normal for us to just hang out with each other during those like gatherings or anything.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like we each had our like pods of like really close friends
within the friend group.
Within the giant friend group that when we would all come together, we'd all see each other. But like outside of that,
we
it was
just
really
hang
just
out.
pods.
Yeah.
Like,
So then spring comes around and we drift apart, I would say, not on purpose or anything like that. It's just like, oh, that was a fun class that we flirted through the whole time, and then it just kind of ended. Prom season was ahead of us, okay? And it was a huge deal. All of the guys were asking all of the girls, etc. And I do remember somebody specifically asking me, Mac, if your dream guy were to ask you to prom, who would it be? It was in like a science class, and us girls were just kind of like sitting around gossiping. And I said, I think Jack Schaefer is really cute.
Oh, wow.
And I would probably go to prom with him. But that's just like, that was just like a dream. It was like, we haven't spoken in so long, why would he ask me type of thing.
See, when I was in science class, it was like, Jack, how many kills did you get in Halo last night? See if you can blow bubbles and chocolate milk through your nose.
And we're like, what boy do you want to ask to prom? But so like we mentioned, we had a giant friend group, and it turns out all the guys were plotting to just ask all of the girls in our friend group as friends, just as friends. There were maybe a couple people who were dating within that group, I would say.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it was just go as friends so that we can all get a giant limo together and we can all go together to
gosh,
prom.
yeah.
But spoiler alert, guys, Jack didn't ask me to prom. One of our guy friends in the group asked me to prom. Jack wasn't going to even go to prom that year.
No, I wasn't. I just didn't want to
You
go.
just didn't want to go.
Yeah.
He had just gotten out of a relationship, I feel like.
Yeah, it really was. Oh my gosh, it's been that long.
Yeah, it's been that long.
Wow, I love how you remember. Yeah, it was my friends, and they were like, "You can just go solo, like just come," and I was like, "Oh, if like I go, I don't want to just go." And then they were all like, "Oh, this person doesn't have a date."
Yeah, and it was one of the girls in our friend group.
Yeah, I was one of the girls in our friend group. So then I like rushed together a plan to like ask her to prom.
So all of our like dates were in order. We were all going to prom, and then, but still, we hadn't really connected personally. Like we weren't like, I heard how he asked through some friends, like one of our friends and stuff. I heard how he asked the person, so I knew he was going. I had my friend date. He had his friend date. We would be at prom together somehow. Like it would just be fun. But then on the day of prom, our high school used to do this like whole assembly thing where you talk about the safeties and make sure you're safe and make sure you make good choices during prom.
Was he Italian? I don't know what he was. He was like this tall, bright, blue-eyed man, and he talked like this.
Yeah.
Like a tough guy.
Super Boston.
There will be no alcohol. If you're drunk, if you get caught drunk, you're out. Don't get anybody pregnant either. And it was just like, oh my god.
I was sitting next to one of my friends. Jack comes in and he sits like maybe 2 or 3 seats down.
Yeah.
And I remember it like this. You like leaned over and you were like, we made eye contact or a silly face like we hadn't talked to each other in months because like first semester to second semester. And you were like, there's a seat. So I had to ditch my friend, and I was fine with it because I was super crushing hardcore. Sure. I didn't even think that Jack was looking and talking at me. I was like, there's no way he's talking to me. Yeah.
Well, no, I was signaling to Bill behind you.
Oh, were you? And then you felt bad for me?
You just happened to sit next to me.
Yeah, right. We just talked. Or like whispered the whole time.
Yeah, we laughed the whole time.
All of the girls are getting ready at my house, and then all the guys are meeting up at our house to take pictures.
We showed up, what, a half hour?
We were supposed to. So we're all kind of still getting ready.
So they're all getting like their makeup and their hair done. And so then her mom told us to go out to the front yard and just play. Which then...
But they did. They showed up like an hour early because guys take like 2 seconds to get ready for prom.
Oh yeah, like literally put on the suits. Then after they were ready, they came out the door into the front yard. It was time for pictures. That's when I saw you. And I was like, oh my gosh, she is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Yeah, see?
Did you like my dress?
I loved your dress. I thought it was stunning. It was very pretty, very classy, and Dingle looked stunning in it.
He said I was the most beautiful girl there. So we take our pictures with our individual prom dates, and you know, we do all the fun like group shots and guy shots and girl shots, etc. And we are ready to go. A few of us, just like 3 or 4 sets of dates piled in my friend's minivan, and we got like car markers to draw all over the car like we were going to prom, so it was really fun. That was kind of the first time that Jack during that day like came up and we like interacted. He saw that we were drawing on a car, so he came over, and that's when we have the infamous picture that I'm sure you guys have seen that we post sometimes on Instagram.
The markers.
It's like we are children, like we are actual babies. So then we head to prom.
My date actually fell asleep. She was up the entire night. The like Harvard admissions process, you have this like super intense essay you have to write, and she was up the entire night before writing this thing. So my date actually fell asleep
at like the table that you guys were eating at.
Yeah, Mac's date was like off and about
dancing like with a group of people. Like we were all like, I think we slow danced like once or so with our dates. Again, we were all just going as friends and stuff. I was sitting at a table just eating dessert or just taking a break or something. My feet hurt, whatever. All of a sudden, I feel this presence like next to me, and it's Jack. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna ask me to dance.
Yeah,
but instead of asking me to dance, what do you do?
Well, I was so chicken. When you're like, I don't know, when I was nervous, maybe I just like acted out. But instead I gave Mac a lap dance.
It was a joke, of course. All clothes were on,
no,
except for like his bow tie and stuff. But he started jokingly giving me like a lap dance, like there was a song on. It was like his jam. But I learned later that he was about to ask me to dance, and then chickened out and like made a joke out of it.
Which is weird. Like I don't usually do that.
Yeah, he was really nervous.
Yeah.
But then the night goes on, I would say. There was one time where we kind of just like broke off and started dancing like with each other, but super PG. Like there was no bumping and grinding going on.
Yeah.
It was just like we were friends and we were dancing like face to face.
Room for the Holy Spirit.
Leaving room for the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
The prom was awesome, and then the next step was that all of our big friend group that we talk about was going over to our friend's house, the friend that actually fell asleep, and that was Jack's date. We were going over to that house because they have a whole barn set up in a backyard and a fire pit and stuff. We were gonna have our after prom party there. So we all get there, we all change into our pajamas, and we have s'mores and snacks and all that stuff. I remember toward the beginning of the night, people were just like running around taking pictures, like being silly and stuff.
Silly, yeah.
Super silly. I remember there was like a fire set up and we were doing s'mores. Yeah. And like our friend group was very touchy-feely, I would say. Like it was like, you know, people sat on laps all the time. Girls sat on laps. Like, you know, it was super just like normal. Jack had someone like kind of like chilling on his lap and like talking to everyone and stuff like that, and I was like, I really want to be on Jack's lap just because I like him, not because he's a friend. So it came time till the end of the night, and people started piling onto the trampoline. Like it was like we were all kind of like in a circle around the trampoline, and we were just talking and telling stories and like bonding and stuff, and there wasn't really space. Like I got on the trampoline to join everybody, and there wasn't really a space to sit. And so I look at Jack, and his lap is free. And so I was like, I'm just gonna sit right here.
Yeah, I did. And I didn't want you to like leave the entire night. And so we pretty much stayed like that for like the longest time. We stayed up, we literally, I think, outlasted everyone until the very wee hours of the morning. Dingle had a track meet the next day.
I did.
Yeah, or that morning and stuff.
It was
I had work. Yeah. And so we were just talking all night.
We were so tired, but like we literally stayed up all night, like slowly one by one, like the group conversation just kind of died as people fell back and like fell asleep on the trampoline. We had like blankets and pillows, we like slept over on the trampoline. Yeah. Jack and I just stayed up whispering all night talking.
And then it came to a certain point, like I actually passed out. Decided it was a great idea to put all of your bobby pins in my hair.
So I needed to get ready for my track meet, and I had all of these bobby pins, and like my hair was a mess just because of all of the like stuff that you put in it for prom. So I took out all the bobby pins, and Jack was passed out, like absolutely passed out. And so we put all of my bobby pins in Jack's hair. He didn't wake up once, but when he woke up, he like felt his head and was so confused as to why the bobby pins were there. Yeah. We go our separate ways. series, I was on cloud 9.
Yeah.
For at least for me, I don't know how it was for you. I went to the track meet and couldn't stop thinking about like
Yeah.
how awesome that night was.
Dingle was on the brain like 24/7. So elated, like so pumped. Like it was such a good night.
We had met the love of our lives.
Yeah,
like
essentially.
we
But we
didn't
didn't
know
know it.
that at
Yeah.
all, but we were just like, oh my gosh, like the connection was unreal.
Yeah, it was incredible. Later that day, I wanted to text Dingle. Like obviously she was like on the mind. I sent a text to Dingle. What I didn't know is she sent a text to me, but it was the wrong number.
That was a number that I probably had back when we had statistics the previous semester.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent a text to him thinking like, I was just thinking about him all day. So I sent a text of like a funny quote or like something that we had talked about or like some sort of inside joke that we had from the night before, just like talking all night. Literally 2 minutes later, I get a text from a completely unknown number. And it's the same quote or inside joke that we had. And I was like, is this Jack? And he was like, yeah, this is Jack. And I was like, did you just get my text? And he goes, no, why? So at the same moment, we were thinking of each other at the same and like wanted to text the same thing to each other, but neither of us knew that we texted each other.
Yeah,
really
far
crazy.
out. Yeah, it was really cool.
So from there on out, we kind of just like have a few encounters where we're texting nonstop.
I still have the phone.
We still have our original phones.
The
We
LG
still have all of our text messages that we would send each other at the very beginning of our relationship. Comment below if you guys want to see those messages because we have them and we could like read them aloud to you. We were texting nonstop. Like people knew that we were texting nonstop. My mom kept asking like, who are you texting? And I would be like, Jack, you know, just like, cause I never wanted to get my hopes up. I always think of like worst case scenario so that like I don't get my hopes up and then it's bad. I always thought like, oh, Jack just thinks we're friends or whatever.
I was like, our phone bill went up. Exactly.
Because Jack was texting so much. So we had a few other encounters. We went to like big friend events, but like since we knew each other now and like we're talking and stuff, we would like talk, you know, in person, which was great. This all led up to our very first date.
Yes, the infamous.
The infamous not a date.
Yeah,
and we are gonna leave you guys on a cliffhanger because you guys get to hear about our first date in our next episode of this series of Our Story.
Oh yeah.
Comment below what you think our first date was.
And comment below why you think it's a non-date date.
A non-date date.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We really enjoyed sharing with you how we met. I know a lot of you are wondering.
Yeah, we hope you all enjoyed it as well. Looking forward to like at the rest of the series. Hope you guys are as well. There's going to be, as Mac mentioned, like this is the first of many. We go through and explain kind of like the different highlights and big points of our lives.
So if you think of a big highlight, we probably already have it in our heads, but if you think of a big highlight that you're really wondering about, make sure to let us know over on Instagram or Twitter or in the comments, etc. because we're filming a whole series about our story.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So thank you guys, and we will catch all of you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.